Have you ever been at a loss to explain a wondrous event that changed your life at a critical moment? Something over which you had no control, where perhaps some other force was at work? Well, that's just what the people in this next story would call a miracle. When Elsa Amador was 12 years old, living in Puerto Rico, she met a young boy, the son of Roberto Clemente, a legendary baseball player who had been tragically killed in a plane crash. Elsa and Roberto Jr. instantly felt a strong attraction to each other.
We told each other we loved each other every day. Yeah. I mean, every day, like 25 times a day.
In spite of their tender age, Roberto and Elsa believed they would spend their lives together, but a tragic event tore them apart. Elsa's father was the innocent victim of a botched robbery attempt, and now his family was in extreme danger.
Elsa, come on, get out.
Elsa's mother had identified the man who killed her husband and was receiving death threats. The FBI moved in to take control of the situation. Elsa had only enough time to call Roberto before she and her family were rushed out of the country into the Witness Protection Program.
I explained to him that we had to leave, and unfortunately I couldn't tell him where I was going. I just kept telling him how much I cared for him and not to blame me for what I was going to do, that it was out of my control.
Elsa spent the next few years moving around the United States, but she never forgot her childhood sweetheart.
I thought about him all the time, and I sometimes closed my eyes and I would see an image of him. He was really thin and tall and just smiling all the time. Well, as time went on, you sort of assume that, they have his own life now. I just imagined him, settled, married.
In November of 1996, Elsa's mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She had always felt responsible for separating her daughter from her childhood sweetheart, and on her deathbed, she made a startling request, urging her to find her lost love.
Find Roberto. He's the man for you.
I'm like, how am I going to find him? And she's like, you should find him. And so I kind of brushed it off.
And then, a few months after her mother's death, Elsa had a sudden, unexplainable urge to attend a Yankees baseball game.
It was something that was just pushing me. It was like this pushing thing.
Whatever was pushing Elsa to the stadium got her there an hour early that day, in time for a pregame event. The Yankees were celebrating Hispanic Heritage Day, and there, center field, accepting an award for his father, was Elsa's long-lost love, Roberto Clemente Jr.
It was really strange. What is he doing there? I'm like, you figured you don't see him for all these years, and then all of a sudden you see him at the park.
Elsa spent the next 9 innings of the game desperately trying to locate Roberto, but without success. The boy she had never forgotten, the man her mother begged her to find, was closer than he'd ever been in over 15 years, and still he was out of reach. Finally, a security guard gave her a possible lead, the number of a local sports cafe. Elsa called and left a message, and the next day, Roberto returned the call and arranged to meet again the woman he had been separated from years ago.
I felt like I had just seen her yesterday, just been with her in school the day before. The feelings that I had for Elsa were so strong, and my friends, everybody knew about Elsa. So it was something that, I always kept her alive in my heart.
On Valentine's Day, 1998, Roberto and Elsa made their reunion complete when they married in New York City. Today, they still marvel over how powers far beyond their own made the dying wish of Elsa's mother come true.
I truly believe that our parents had a little meeting in heaven and said, wait a second, let's do something here. I believe that it was meant to be, and I truly believe it was a time where our parents' souls just got together and said, look, let's just make just 2 poor children happy.
For Roberto and Elsa, a tragic separation has ended happily with a miraculous second chance.
Join us again next week when we'll bring you more fascinating stories that defy belief.
See you next time on It's a Miracle.